Welcome to the Unblock Your Business podcast. I'm Abby Rogers, success coach, business coach and hypnotherapist, and I help high achievers and business leaders master their subconscious habits for success, income goals and, above all, happiness. But success isn't just about mindset or strategy. It's about combining both and sealing the deal with a big dose of subconscious alignment, because our subconscious holds the true key to unlocking our potential. Let's dive in and look at how you can show up bigger, better and more uniquely aligned in life and business today. Hi there, welcome back to the Unblock Your Business podcast. Today it's all about wealth. So I'm talking with Claire Sweet, award-winning financial advisor, money coach and international best-selling author. And I'm talking with Claire about why a fantastic income doesn't always equate to true wealth. Those 6-figure, 7-figure businesses that you hear so much about don't always mean that people feel that wealthy or have a lifestyle that truly allows them to enjoy their wealth. So we're going to talk about that and how to make sure that your income supports the wealthy lifestyle that you want. Claire's been featured in lots of fantastic publications. She's a regular guest speaker and really knows her stuff. And she's also a fantastic coach, having worked with her myself. She's been helping clients organise their finances now for more than 14 years. And she really has a revolutionary approach to finance and wealth creation, which allows you to just take control of your future whilst fully enjoying the present. And that is so important to me. So without further ado, let's get on with chatting to Claire. So wonderful to have Claire Sweet with us today. Claire is going to tell us all sorts of wonderful things about wealth and finances and what we should be doing to make sure that we're actually living a really wealthy lifestyle rather than just earning that income we deserve, because they're very different things. Hi Claire, great to have you here.
Hello. Yes, lovely to catch up with you again. It seems like ages, so it's brilliant to be here.
Time flies too easily, doesn't it?
It does.
So I'd love for you just to really start by telling us a bit about you and your business journey and where you are today, really.
I can do that. So I've been in finance for just over 14 years now. I started as a mortgage and protection advisor and then trained as a financial advisor so that I could do all of the regulated things. So everything you'd expect a financial advisor to do, from helping you with a mortgage to buying your dream home, all the way through to planning for retirement, pensions and inheritance tax and all of that type of stuff, which is great. But what I realised a few years back was that there was a big gap in the market for people who weren't necessarily ready to work with a financial advisor, but needed some help organising their finances, getting clear on their money and actually using it to make something happen. Because that's why we go into business, isn't it? We want to earn some money, we've got bills to pay, but ultimately we've got this picture in our head of what life should look like and what we want. And putting your money to work for you is a way of helping that happen.
Absolutely. And I've worked with you before, but I know lots of entrepreneurs don't really plan for their wealth journey. They're very focused on their income goals, and that's a massive thing for them, but they don't really think about what they're doing with it after.
And that's so difficult because so many people, they focus on earning more money and they have this sort of magical figure in their head where they think everything will all be all right. They think, well, if I could just earn enough to leave my day job, that will be fine. Then the next one is usually, well, if I could earn £2,000 or £3,000 a month, yeah, I'd have enough money coming in, everything would be fine. Then it's 5,000, then it's 10,000 and the 6-figure and the 7-figure. And it's always there as this is how much money, and then I'll feel secure and I'll feel wealthy. And a lot of them don't, because if you haven't got all the things sorted out behind the scenes, you can still have multi-6 figures coming into your business and still feel skint from time to time because the money's not in the right place at the right time. And you've got bigger overheads, you've got more costs. You know, you can't run a business of that size on your own usually. So you've got staff and people you freelance with and all of that type of thing. And I've worked with business owners who, on the outside, when you look at social media, it all looks all singing and dancing, all shiny, and they're talking about how much money they're making in their sales and in their launches. But behind the scenes, they don't necessarily feel any more confident about their money than anybody else. So I think it's a really important thing to help people turn that money into wealth. And as you said earlier, wealth is about a feeling in a lot of ways. It's not just about the amount of pounds or dollars in the bank.
Yeah, 100%. Otherwise, you can end up just on this constant hamster wheel, I guess, of chasing this figure, and that figure's getting higher and higher, but you're never actually feeling any better about it, as you mentioned there. So do you work very much with people on their mindset side of things as well, and feeling wealthy?
So some of that I do. I mean, I do very surface level mindset stuff because I'm one of these people that is quite straightforward and quite blunt in a lot of ways, I suppose. If you ever did one of those personality quizzes where you come out as a different color, I come out to be a red. I'm one of the people that will tell it how it is. Okay, not soft and fluffy. Yeah. Yes, I will give anybody support and love and appreciation to a point, but then at some point you have to pull up your big girl pants and get on with it. Okay, you need a plan. Having a picture on your wall of what you want, if you take no action at all, is not going to help you. It doesn't matter what your mindset has done. If you don't actually do anything about it, you'll still be looking out the window hoping that you have something that you haven't. So yeah, I help people often with their mindset in terms of just assessing what they believe to be true and the things that are actually getting in their way, which can be something really, really simple. Because if somebody's goal is to have more time with their family on a weekend, the solution to that could be as simple as getting a cleaner and finding an extra £40 a week to pay for a cleaner. And in fact, that could be their goal. It doesn't have to be the penthouse in London or the round the world trip with your family or whatever. Your goals can be quite small, but have a massive impact. Being able to come in from the office on a Friday and spend all weekend with your partner and your children, or time for yourself doing what you want and not thinking about cleaning the bathroom. What is that worth to you? It's worth certainly more than the money you pay your cleaner.
Yeah, absolutely. You helped me actually to just realised that we were already at the position where I could get my husband to take an extra half day off a week, and now he's down to a 4-day week, and that's made a phenomenal difference for us. And that feels to me like a real quality of life thing. It's massive, isn't it? And it's not just about pursuing the money in the bank. It's about what you do with it. Yeah, totally. Good. So what do you think real wealth looks like? I guess it's many and varied to many different people, but
it is. I mean, wealth is about flexibility and time, I would say, rather than the cash in the bank, because money is great. Money gives you opportunities and it lets you do things, even by the fact that if you're earning good money, it means that you might be able to take a day a week where you don't work. So I don't work a Friday. I know now your husband takes a day off in the week as well. And so to be fair, none of my team in the office works Fridays, which means that we get a balance of work life and home life. But for some people, it's more than that. It's about feeling comfortable. It's being able to get on with doing their job and growing their business without worrying that the money's going to run out, without thinking, do you know what, I'm going to get to the end of the month and I can't afford that. For some people, it's about increasing their quality of life and living a more luxurious lifestyle. So being able to drive a nicer car or book a nicer holiday and that type of thing. But for a lot of people, it's just the peace of mind of knowing that if they don't want to work today, especially as a business owner, they can just take a day off, and actually the world doesn't stop, because they've got the things in place behind the scenes that mean the money still comes in, they still get paid, and they can enjoy life. You know, none of us knows how long we've got. I think I had a bit of a wake-up call back in 2009 when my mum passed away, and she was only 59. Now, we weren't particularly close or anything like that, but it gave me that push to take the step into financial services full-time, because this was my second career. I was a pharmacist originally. I went to university, did pharmacy. I worked for Boots for 17 years. And then I had a period of time where I was running that and this as well. And losing my mum gave me that confidence to think, do you know what? I want to enjoy the quality of life. I want flexibility. For me, it was about having time off and being able to pick my daughter up from school and not having to work every weekend and all of that type of thing. But increasingly, it's meant that I'm free to work with the clients that I want. I don't have to work with somebody just because they've got the money and they can. I can choose the people that I'm going to enjoy working with, that I know I can have the massive difference with. And it's an amazing place to be in your business. And that, to me, I think is the freedom that earning good money brings when you've got all the things set up behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's the ultimate dream, isn't it? And it's such an integral piece of the puzzle that many people miss, getting those kind of behind the scenes.
Well, it is. I mean, I remember going to a cricket match, funny enough. It was put on as a hospitality event a few years ago for a group of us who performed particularly well within the financial planning business that I'm in. And there was one girl there who was a mortgage advisor, and she was there proudly saying about how much business she'd written, and that she was working from 6 a.m. till 10 at night and working 7 days a week, and look at all this money I've earned. And I said to her, when are you going to spend any of this money you're earning? And she just looked at me completely blankly. It's not about just piling the money in. We could all earn more money if we put in more hours, but you need to balance life for now and life for the future. And, none of us know how long we've got. The last 18 months have shown us that very, very bluntly. And I think that you want to enjoy the journey and then have something that you're working to, and keeping the balance is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with that. And it's, as you were saying a few moments ago, it's so nice to have that security in my business now, and knowing that I've got a little bit saved up for investments and for developing the business as well. And it's not kind of living from month to month going, I'll just pay myself everything and then having nothing left in the business. It's being very, very thoughtful in how you put all that behind the scenes stuff in place so that you can let go and you can enjoy life as well. It's massive, really is. So how can our listeners really plan to create a truly wealthy lifestyle? What are kind of the key things for them to focus on?
So, I've got a 4-step process that I work through with all of my clients. As you know, you've been a client of mine and worked together, and there are lots of different ways that I do this with clients that I do. But there are several things you can do that are really key to how you feel about money. And a lot of them are process related rather than mindset related, because people say, oh, how do you feel about money? I've got to do all the inner work. But some of it can just be having the peace of mind of letting things go. So the number one tip that I give to any business owner is that they should pay themselves a regular income each month. So you should have a look at your business account and see what is realistic for you to pay yourself each month. Now, if you're just starting out, that could be a really low figure. It might only be £500 a month, but it should be £500 a month every month, not £500 this month and then £1,500 next month and then nothing the following month and then £2,000. You can't budget at home with that. And also, because you're then robbing Peter to pay Paul, often you don't realise that you're not drawing enough out of your business to support your lifestyle at home, which then puts you under more stress at home, because, we all know that, the biggest cause of tension in relationships typically is money, or can be money. So by having a regular income, that helps. So I work with my clients to find out what that figure is that they can pay each other pay themselves each month, but also that they can hold a bit of a slush fund in reserve. So we use a profit first type model, but there's lots of ways to do it, so that over time you build up that slush fund of 3 months or 6 months wages, so that, if something happens and you take a couple of weeks holiday, or you decide you're going to take the summer off to not have to work because you've got your children at home, or even you've got an invoice that you're waiting for that doesn't get paid on time, the whole world doesn't grind to a halt, and you don't have that panic with oh my God, how am I going to pay my staff? I've got bills to pay. What about my salary? The mortgage comes out next week. You haven't got any of that worry because you know that you can still pay yourself. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is about being intentional with your money. So if you've got things you really want to save for, you need to be actively putting the money away for them. So that could be a holiday or a new car. It could be anything at all you want it to be, because what you want out of your life is going to be different from what I want out of my life. And having a bank account, or more than one, like a series of money pots that you use for different purposes, can be really, really freeing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say to anyone at the moment who is struggling to make their finances a priority? Because I know that for a lot of women in particular, not just women, but it's a big theme with women, I think. It's something that we tend to avoid like the plague, and we find a really scary subject. So what would you say to help people feeling
Well,
like that?
I think the secret is to carve out some time in your diary to do it. Now, whether that's once a week, once a month, or whatever that is, to actually put it in your diary, whether that's electronic or on paper, and block it out. The analogy I normally give is that if you had to go to your grandma's funeral on a Thursday morning, and a client phoned up and said, could they have an appointment? You'd apologise, but you'd fit them into another space in your diary. You need to create yourself that sacred space that is as special as your grandma's funeral, that if somebody says, oh, I need to see you on Monday morning, and Monday morning is the time you take out to work on your business and do your finances, that you actually have the confidence to say no and just trust that they will book another time. And once you've started doing it, it becomes so much more simple to do. And there's always going to be the odd occasion where, yes, you can't. My diary for Mondays, I don't do client calls on a Monday. My diary is all blocked out, where it generally says, do not book this unless this is the only option. I do have one this afternoon. It's the only day the lady can do. But typically, I carve this time out. And I think that is the secret. I mean, the other thing that can help is to have a group of like-minded people that support you to do it. So in terms of accountability, whatever that looks like for you. And that's one of the reasons why, in terms of the things that I've developed over the last 18 months and the ways that you can now work with me, whereas I used to do a lot of upfront things, now most of my programs have got some element of ongoing contact, because people know what they want to do. They need to just go off and do it. But by having that opportunity each month to just come and check in and check that everything's okay and hold the space to do it, they actually do take action on their plan. It's an amazing sort of co-working type experience that it lets people have their privacy, but it means that because you've agreed that you will be there, that you're going to sit there for an hour and do your thing. I mean, I don't know on the other end of the screen whether you're sat there playing Candy Crush or you are actually looking at your money stuff. I've got no way of knowing, but I think it becomes a lot more effective because you feel like you've got other people who are in this with you. And the life of an entrepreneur can be quite lonely, especially if you're the only person in your family that's running a business or your social circle locally and things. They don't quite get those things that we do. They really don't understand it, the concepts of how businesses run and launches and models and funnels and all of that online stuff. And on top of that, how the numbers work. Because when you run a business, especially as it grows and you're starting to employ staff and freelancers and bits and pieces, obviously your turnover is higher. And it gets to the stage where you've got more money coming into your business than some of the people you know earn in a year. And you can't then discuss your concerns and things with them because they just don't get it. They don't get it at all. So it's surrounding yourself with the right people, I think, is the thing. People who are at your level, some who are a little bit further ahead, some who are a little bit further behind that you can support, because we're all in this together. There's no competition in my eyes. We're all doing our own thing, and if we work together, we end up stronger. Yeah,
absolutely. I think just being with the right people and giving yourself that dedicated time and saying this is something that I recognize has got to happen and I'm going to make space for it. It's so important to so many things in business, isn't it? And it just makes all the difference, having that kind of presence.
It becomes easier the more you do it, the easier it is, because once you've got that time carved out and you do it regularly, it doesn't take you as long each time you do it. If each time you sit down to go through your bank statements and work out what payments you're making to people, if you only sit down and do it once a year, it's going to take you hours. If you can sit down and do it weekly or monthly or whatever, it's not. And also you get the processes set up behind the scenes to make sure that becomes more simple. I'm quite a process driven person. It's what makes my logical brain smile, I suppose.
It's nice to have the right steps in place. Definitely. I have to admit, I've outsourced my bookkeeping and accounts now because it's just so much easier. Somebody will do it, because I'm bad at doing that. I love to do creative stuff at my business, but I haven't been terribly good at setting aside that time to do it. So it's just an easy tick in the box, get it outsourced, get it done, and then I can focus on the stuff that is
at least you're doing it,
move the business forward. So
and that's it. And it's happening, because the problem is that a lot of business owners, they don't really feel on top of their figures. They understand what sales are coming in. That's the bit that everyone plasters all over social media, how much money has come into the account. But they often don't understand their profit and how that works. Even I didn't. And I was a finance person. I used to go to my accountant once a year and have literally no idea at all what they were going to tell me the profit figure was going to be. Because I just literally got on with doing the day job, got my head down, got on with it. I didn't stop to finish. I didn't look at it at all because everything was sort of working. I didn't feel I needed to, but it meant I missed out on the opportunity for growth because I wasn't spotting the trends far enough in advance. And by the time I went into my accountant and he gave me my figures and things, I was already halfway through the next year. So anything that he'd suggested, I was 6 months late in implementing anyway. Whereas if you can keep on top of it, it has a massive impact.
That's right. Yeah, it really helps you cut out the stuff that's not actually bringing you any profit in and really focus on the stuff that will. So huge. Wonderful. So just reflecting on your own journey, I guess, what advice might you give yourself if you were right back at the beginning of your business and starting out again now?
I think to focus on what you really want to do rather than what other people tell you should do. I mean, I've worked with a lot of coaches and mentors over the years that I've been in business. And when I think back to the very first one that I ever worked with, it was a completely new experience for me. And she said to me, what do you want to do? if you could just be paid to do something all day, what is it you want to do? And I think I very flippantly said something like, oh, I want to drink coffee and eat cake, expecting her to sort of laugh and tell me to grow up and behave myself. And all. She didn't. She just said to me, she said, right, so how do we get paid to do that? And I looked at her and I was like, what? The concept that actually you can build the business you want. And I've sort of gone full circle on it. And I've, in some ways I've wasted a bit of time, but in other ways I've learned a lot from the experience. And I've realized that, my heart is in that in-depth stuff that I get working with people one-to-one. Because money's very personal. I often put it in the same bracket as health and weight loss and that type of thing. People like to have their privacy, and their situation is completely different from one person to the next. It's not one size fits all. And once I realized that and honed myself back in on what I really want to be doing, what has the most impact for my clients, it made such a lot of difference to everything that happened. So I would say stay in your lane, see what's out there, but just think about it and think, how does this feel for me? Do I want to do this? I meet a lot of business owners that are craving a regular income each month. And the only way they've been told they can do that is to have either a membership or a group program with a monthly subscription fee. And for some people that works absolutely brilliantly. But you don't have to do it like that. There are other ways. And, when I realized that actually I don't run my business like that and I still have a consistent income, I thought, well, do you know what? I can teach other people how to do this, because it's not one size fits all.
No.
And we've each got to do the thing that lights us up and brings us joy, because otherwise what's the point?
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. Wonderful note to end on. So can you tell us where we can find you and a bit more about what's going on with you and your business at the moment?
So the social media platform I spend most of my life on is Facebook. You are welcome to friend request me on Facebook. I've also got a business page, which is Piece Together Money Coaching with Claire Sweet. I've got some YouTube videos, which are absolutely brilliant. If you're looking for a free bite-sized resource to get all your financial stuff sorted in your own time, that can be great. And I'm over on Instagram as well. In terms of what's going on with my business, I've got some amazing things happening at the moment. My entry-level foundation program is called Rock Solid, and I got the trademark on that earlier this year, which I was really pleased about. And it's about getting those financial basics in place so that you can concentrate on building your dream. So it's all those things I've talked about already: creating a regular income, organizing your bank account. We also look at your comfort blanket, so your security net. What happens if you are ill or you can't work? Do you need some emergency savings? Have you written a will? All tidying up all those loose ends that we all know we need to do, but we sort of put off because we think, I'll go and do something else instead. But actually, the security and the peace of mind that comes is great. And then in terms of the K of Rock Solid, that's about knowing your one focus and having a picture on a vision board, but a goal and a dream turned into action so that you actually move forward on it and you make a plan. Rock Solid is a self-study program that you can do in the privacy of your own home over 6 weeks, where the content is released to you a bit at a time so you don't get overwhelmed. And the people who've been on it so far have had amazing results. And then at the end of the program, it leads on to a monthly accountability session where you can come and work on your plan in complete privacy, but just hold the space in your diary. And it's really, really amazing. I've got a discount code for anyone listening that wants to do it. I will get Abby to pop it in the show notes. The code is ROCK500, and it means that you get a discount on the program, which is brilliant. And you've got time to still do it and get it finished before Christmas so that you go into 2022 with a massive spring in your step. So with a plan. Brilliant.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks so much for that discount code as well. I think the listeners will really appreciate that. So thank you, Claire. Great to have you here today. So nice to chat. And thanks for sharing all those great tips with us.
Brilliant. Speak to you soon.
Take care. Bye. So lots of fantastic insights there from Claire. Thank you to Claire for coming to speak to us today. The reason I decided to work with Claire, I think it's probably worth me just going into this story a little bit, just to kind of let you know where I was with finances and investing and all that scary sounding stuff. So the reason I decided to work with Claire and to just confront this stuff head on and get it sorted out was because I hit this point a couple of years ago of thinking, I keep telling myself there's nothing much in life that I'm scared of, but actually I'm just burying my head in the sand massively when it comes to money. And I realised that through some things that had happened in my life and previous business, I had really let other people take the reins for far too long. And it was really time for that to stop, because that was definitely not serving me. And so I decided it was time to get empowered financially as well as in all other areas of life. But I think finances can be so daunting and so off-putting for a lot of people, especially women, because it is just something we are really not taught about. It's not kind of in our consciousness as we grow up. And I really wish there was more done to educate and help people have financial awareness as they are growing up. But yeah, I was definitely one of those people who felt really scared of that, and like that was not something that applied to me in a way. So I'd always shied away from things like pensions and investments because it felt like stuff I wouldn't understand. And I made lots of excuses to myself about it being too complicated, it being too daunting, not knowing what I was doing. But often things feel so much more overwhelming and daunting until we start to get into them. And through my work as a mindset coach, I knew that. So I thought, right, it's time to do something about this. And I did feel massively out of my depth and had this horrible fear of getting it wrong. But I thought the best way to tackle that fear was for me to get myself educated and to start to learn about investing and pensions and all that stuff that I put off for so long. Because those excuses that I was making were just my brain coming up with scare tactics to stop me taking action, to stop me living that better life and really taking control. So I thought, enough excuses, enough of not doing anything. So I started to read books about finances. I read Tony Robbins' Unshakable, which I did find really helpful. Profit First is another book I highly recommend if you feel a little bit out of your depth with your business finances and you want to get things better under control and start being able to pay yourself that regular wage, as Claire was talking about there. So really recommend having a look at Profit First. So yeah, armed myself with lots of information, and then I thought, right, I'm ready to tackle this. I'm just going to get somebody who really knows what they're doing here to help me out, to hold my hand through this. And it was absolutely a revelation. So if you are sitting in that place at the moment where you're feeling a little bit frightened of money and of tackling the finances, my thought for today, if you like, is just go for it. It's not as bad as it seems. And the more that you can start to educate yourself around it, the less daunting it will feel. And it will be so worth it for you, both in terms of reassuring yourself and peace of mind now, and in terms of planning a fantastic future. So I hope that helps. Thanks for listening today, and I will be back next week. And that's the end of our little mini series of guest experts for a while. So back to me and my thoughts next week, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, it would be incredible if you could pop a review on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or your favourite podcast platform. And if you want to dive deeper, you can find me in my Facebook group Unblock Your Business or at www.unblockyourbusiness.com.